So Ms. Richardson, you're recognized for 5 minutes. Just make sure your mic's on and go right ahead.
I want to thank the committee for inviting me to testify today. My name is Caitlin Richardson. I'm a reporter at the Daily Caller News Foundation, a nonprofit news outlet based in Washington, D.C., dedicated to holding public officials accountable and exposing government waste, fraud, and abuse through in-depth investigative reporting. I cover the Supreme Court and do investigative reporting. In September 2021, I started looking into the government's funding of censorship tools after finding that the National Science Foundation had launched a program awarding grants to researchers to develop projects aimed at combating misinformation. What I discovered was a multi-million-dollar effort to build what I call a censorship industrial complex, using taxpayer dollars as seed funding for various projects. The efforts fit within the broader trend of the federal government's increasing involvement in online censorship, from the Center for Disease Control flagging posts during COVID-19 to the FBI working with social media companies to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. In September 2021, the National Science Foundation awarded $750,000 each to 12 teams of researchers as part of a new research track within its Convergence Accelerator program titled Trust and Authenticity in Communication Systems. Proposals range from fact-checking tools that warn journalists when publishing content may result in outcomes like polarizing discourse or perpetuating false narratives. 6 projects, which are currently ongoing, advanced in 2022 to the second stage and received an additional $5 million in funding. One, a digital dashboard called Course Correct, aims to help journalists locate and correct misinformation. Run by researchers in the University of Wisconsin system, the project uses machine learning to identify networks where misinformation is spreading and pinpoint who is sharing it on social media. It highlights issues like vaccine hesitancy and electoral skepticism as areas of special interest. Another AI-based grant project by the company Medan aims to curb racially targeted misinformation by developing algorithms that scan millions of posts and map them to misinformation narratives. The Convergence Accelerator program is not the only way the NSF has steered taxpayer dollars towards the development of censorship tools. The NSF awarded the University of Washington $550,000 to develop language technologies that detect and intervene in hate speech and discriminatory language, like sexist, racist, homophobic microaggressions. It awarded the University of Houston $50,000 to develop an online dashboard with misinformation forecast trends. It also approved $324,000 in 2022 for a summer camp at Old Dominion University to teach students about the rapidly growing research area of disinformation detection and analytics, which is scheduled to happen again this summer. The goal is to prepare students for future disinformation-related jobs, an indicator this is a growing industry, and as the sampling of grants demonstrates, one the federal government has a multi-million-dollar stake in. Even as a lawsuit challenging the federal government's communications with social media companies to censor speech progresses to the Supreme Court, these grants and the tools they are developing have received comparatively little attention. The NSF swears it does not engage in censorship and that it does not partner directly with social media platforms. But taxpayer dollars spent on projects that do are still troubling, as were the agency's responses to straightforward questions about its programs. When I reported on Convergence Accelerator grants shortly after their announcement, the NSF devised an official media strategy instructing research teams to highlight pro-democracy nature of their projects. I only know this thanks to emails unveiled in a report this committee put out today. Again, when I wrote for the Daily Caller News Foundation in early 2023 about projects that advanced to stage 2, emails from the committee report show they privately considered removing videos about the projects they were funding from YouTube. If the agency's reaction to fair questions from journalists is to strategize ways to rebrand and avoid attention, why does it have any business funding tools that tell reporters what is true and what is false? If their impulse is to hide information, how can projects it backs be trusted to sort out what information is authoritative? The government is not the arbiter of truth. Our founders understood this, which is why we have a First Amendment. They understood the danger of the government telling people what they should believe and targeting opinions that cut against the official narrative. Pursuing information control by funding outside organizations is no less a threat to free speech and freedom of the press than a tyrannical government. Thank you.